Hey, Shalom Israel, how we on the ones and twos? Good to go? Most High in Christ, man. Welcome to another installment of Fire in the Sky. I'm here with Priest and Officer Karataza.
Shalom, Lord Christ.
We visited Revelation, Daniel, chapter 2, some time ago, and I wanted to revisit this chapter because it's very important for today. Let me situate this real quick. All right. Feel free to comment, like, share, subscribe. It is our sole purpose to get the truth out. That's our number one concern. So that's what we are concerned with. We're going to read Daniel, the second chapter. How far we'll get into it. It might be a part 2. This might be part 1 of a 2-part series. I really want to focus on what may be intimidating to those who are reading Daniel for the first time, to make it clear, to make it understandable, rather. And when you go back and read Daniel for yourself, you're a lot more understanding of the time period and who Daniel is and things alike. So without further ado, actually, I'm going to leave about maybe 1 minute of space for brothers and sisters who are interested in watching this breakdown to chime in. Oh, sorry. What? Was it only one? You good to go? Most High in Christ. All right. Kodash, what's going on, Kodash? I see you. Kodash. That boy he got raised up to a priest. Got raised up to a priest officer at camp. This last Saturday, we had camp in Hollywood. It's absolutely amazing, glorious. Of course, they missed us, right? And we're going to continue to go to camp. We're going to continue to do the work of the Lord. That is what our life is surrounded by, man. I'm really in the mode of, if you're a Black, Hispanic, or Native American Indian, man, let's do it for real. Let's do it authentic. Just authentic, real, just pure in sincerity, serving the Most High, the God of the Israelites, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Let's really abide by his law, statutes, and commandments, and let's really obey everything he said in this Bible. So we're going to read Daniel chapter 2. We're going to read it from the very top of the second chapter. Go ahead, priest.
This is the book of Daniel, chapter 2, and verse 1. And in the second year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuchadnezzar dreamed dreams.
Right. This is Nebuchadnezzar, son of Nabopolassar. This is Nebuchadnezzar the second, Nebuchadnezzar the Great. This is the same Nebuchadnezzar who led the siege of Jerusalem on 2 occasions. This is the Nebuchadnezzar who famously ransacked Jerusalem and took the holy things from the temple of the Most High. You see? And not only that, the second time, because the first time he let brothers like Ezekiel and Jeremiah was present when he led the first Babylonian exile. When you read Ezekiel, the first chapter, you read about the Babylonian exile. Ezekiel was amongst the first batch of people amongst the nation of Israel who were led to Babylon as captives. That's a fact, you see? And then Ezekiel had those great visions he had that we still study to this day. But the point is, Nebuchadnezzar was a wicked man. He was an evil man. The second time he seized Jerusalem and starved us out by encamping Jerusalem and not letting anything go out or in regards to food and beverages. Nebuchadnezzar captured a king by the name of Zedekiah, who tried to escape Nebuchadnezzar's wrath, if you will. And Nebuchadnezzar, when he captured King Zedekiah, king of Judah, who he set up, and instead of Jehoiakim the king, when he captured Zedekiah, he slayed his two sons in front of him, then ripped his eyes from his skull. The last thing King Zedekiah saw before he was hauled off into slavery into Babylon was seeing his sons, or witnessing his sons, be unalived in front of him. That's the nature of Nebuchadnezzar, a cruel man. You see? Keep reading.
Nebuchadnezzar dreamed dreams.
Nebuchadnezzar dreamed dreams. Read.
Wherewith his spirit was troubled.
Wherewith his spirit was troubled. Read.
And his sleep brake from him.
And his sleep broke from him. These visions that he would have would break from him. He would wake up in cold sweats for fear of these dreams that he did not understand. Read.
Then the king commanded to call the magicians and the astrologers and the sorcerers and the Chaldeans.
Right. So Nebuchadnezzar, when he was being troubled with these dreams and visions, right, alike, he called for the Chaldees or the Chaldeans. Who are the Chaldeans? I got the Zondervans here. I want to look up the Chaldeans for you. Move my phone. The Chaldeans is on page 151. I got you right here. I'm gonna have to read a little louder if you could. You know, if you let go too long, the pages go crazy. Chaldea, right there. Right, who are the Chaldeans? Go ahead.
Chaldea in the page 151 on the Zondervans.
Mm-hmm.
An adjective referring to the country of which Babylon was the capital,
Mm-hmm.
and which conquered Judah and carried its inhabitants into captivity.
Uh-huh.
The name occurs in the KJV only in Jeremiah 50 and 10. You want?
Yeah, keep going.
50 and 10, 51, 24, and 35. Ezekiel 11 and 24. Ezekiel 16, 29. Ezekiel 23, 15, and 16.
Right. The Chaldeans were a group of Babylonians who were deemed highly intelligent or educated. Right? These were supposed to be the wise men of Babylon.
Oh, God.
Right? Go ahead. You have more?
Chaldean astrologers. Oh, no, it's like it says wise men.
Right. They were deemed the wise men of Babylon, which is why when Nebuchadnezzar was having these visions and dreams that he couldn't make nothing of, that was breaking his sleep and troubling him, he called for the Chaldeans, the astrologers, and the wise men of Babylon. Keep reading.
The book of Daniel, chapter 2, and verse 2.
Mm-hmm.
For to show the king his dreams, so they came and stood before the king.
Uh-huh.
And the king said unto them, I have dreamed a dream, and my spirit was troubled to know the dream.
Mm-hmm.
Then spake the Chaldeans to the king in Sirach,
Right.
O king, live forever. Tell thy servants the dream, and we will show the interpretation.
Right. Syriac is the language they spoke. Keep going.
Verse
Which
5.
we as Israelites adapted the Syrian script, a form of Hebrew. Keep going.
Verse 5. The king answered and said to the Chaldeans, the thing is gone from me. If ye will not make known unto me the dream with the interpretation thereof, ye shall be cut in pieces, and your houses shall be made a dunghill.
So when Nebuchadnezzar called for the Chaldeans or the Chaldees, one and the same, the wise men of Babylon, the astrologers and magicians, right? The magician or the Chaldeans said, "What was the dream you had, so we can interpret it, my lord?" Nebuchadnezzar said, "Nah. You gonna tell me the dream and the interpretation, because that way I'll know what you're saying is true. I'll know that you're really a wise man." You understand? Keep going.
It's like, sir, if I could.
Absolutely.
You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of, you see that meme when people be like, when I just put anything on my resume, or like when, like when they act like, when I just signed up for a first day on the job, when I lied on my resume, like,
Right.
I signed up to be an electrician, but they really have no qualifications to be an electrician.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It kind of reminds me that I bet you, when Nebuchadnezzar told them that, nah, you supposed to be this astrologer, this wise man, interpret this dream for me without me telling you what this is. You know what I'm saying? The dream that troubled me. You should know these things. And they probably
Right.
was sweating.
Absolutely.
Nervous.
Absolutely. And that's exactly Nebuchadnezzar was looking to prove these Chaldeans. He was looking to prove the worth of these wise men. Because if you can tell me my dream, then I'm going to believe the breakdown.
Right.
Go ahead.
Verse 6. But if ye show the dream and the interpretation thereof, you shall receive of me gifts and rewards and great honor.
You're going to receive gifts and rewards, women, drink, and amazing food. At my demand, at my command and order, you're going to receive it because you told me my dream and the breakdown of my dream. Keep going.
Therefore, show me the dream and the interpretation thereof. Verse 7, then they answered again and said, let the king tell his servants the dream, and we will show the interpretation of it.
But please, my lord, please, sire, please, just tell us your dream that we may interpret it. Keep going.
The king answered and said, I know of certainty that ye would gain the time, because ye see the thing is gone from me.
Right. Keep going.
But if ye will not make known unto me the dream, there is but one decree for you, and ye have prepared lying and corrupt words to speak before me.
Right. Nebuchadnezzar knew that they would pull a fast one on him. Right. So now he's saying, not only if you don't tell me my dream and the interpretation thereof, I'm gonna have you unalived in a cruel fashion. Keep going.
Till the time be changed. Therefore, tell me the dream, and I shall know that ye can show me the interpretation thereof. Verse 10, the Chaldeans answered before the king and said, there is not a man upon the earth that can show the king's matter.
Right. There is not a man, the Chaldeans are saying, there is not a man on earth, my lord, that can possibly show you your dream and the interpretation. Keep going.
Therefore, there is no king, Lord, no ruler that asks such things at any magician or astrologer or Chaldean.
This is new. This is new, sir. No king in history has ever asked or requested of a wise man to not only break down his dream, but to tell him his dream. Right? Keep going.
Verse 11, and it is a rare thing that the king requireth, and there is none other that can show it before the king except the gods, whose dwelling is not with flesh.
Keep going.
For this cause the king was angry and was very furious, and commanded to destroy all the wise men of Babylon. And the decree went forth that the wise men should be slain, and they sought Daniel and his fellows to be slain.
So all the wise men, or all the men that were captive that were deemed wise, were all slated to be unalived. Were all slated to be victim of the sword of the Babylonian oppressor. That's what the Babylonian king Nebuchadnezzar decreed, because those Chaldeans, those wise men of Chaldea or Babylon, they said, nobody's going to tell you. Nobody's going to tell you your dream. Only a God, only the gods can do that. And their presence is not with flesh. That's what the Chaldeans said. So Nebuchadnezzar said, all right, so what good are you?
Right.
What's your worth to me? Right? To sell me a dream? Get rid of, all y'all got to go. Keep reading. So they sent Babylonian soldiers to go do Nebuchadnezzar's bidding. Keep going.
Verse 14. Then Daniel answered with counsel and wisdom to Arioch, the captain of the king's guard,
Right. Arioch is the captain of the king's guard. He was a soldier under Nebuchadnezzar. Keep going.
which was gone forth to slay the wise men of Babylon.
He was going to go forth and execute the order from Nebuchadnezzar to kill, so like you're unalive, the wise men. Keep going.
He answered and said to Arioch, the king's captain, why is the decree so hasty from the king? And then Arioch made the thing known to Daniel.
Mm-hmm.
Then Daniel went in and desired of the king that he would give him time, and that he would show the king the interpretation.
So they came to Daniel, and Daniel said, why is he so hasty to do this? Give me some time. Give me some time, because Arioch explained to him, well, the Chaldeans was supposed, he spilled the beans. The Chaldeans were supposed to break down Nebuchadnezzar's dream. Oh, okay. Well, why didn't they break it down? Because Nebuchadnezzar didn't tell him the dream. Nebuchadnezzar wanted them to tell him the dream so that he knows that the breakdown is true and that they're really wise men and that the guys that they claim they worship and serve are really dealing with them.
Right.
So Daniel said, no sweat. If I could, give me some time and I'll do it. Now, this is very fascinating to me as the reader, because Daniel had no knowledge of this situation, right? And if you could, y'all can want the air. If you could, that's the wild. Daniel had no knowledge of this, right? But notice what Daniel says. Read it one more time. I want to see if you catch this at home. I want to see if you catch what Daniel did. Go ahead.
Verse 16. Then Daniel went in and desired of the king that he would give him time, and that he will show the king the interpretation.
You know what Daniel displayed? Daniel displayed absolute faith. Daniel Allah knew that he would go to the Most High and the Most High would be with him. That's faith.
Right.
He knew, like, can you imagine going to the Most High, requesting what he's going to request? Keep going.
Verse 17. Then Daniel went to his house and made the water. Then Daniel went to his house and made the thing known to Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah.
Right.
His
Shadrach,
companions.
Meshach, and Abednego, surname.
That they would desire mercies of the God of heaven concerning this secret, that Daniel and his fellows should not perish with the rest of the wise men of Babylon. Then was the secret revealed unto Daniel in a night vision.
Mm-hmm.
Then Daniel blessed the God of heaven.
Right. Then after Daniel prayed to the Most High, he went to the Most High and requested that he receive the understanding of Nebuchadnezzar. Because if he didn't, they were going to be unalived.
Mm-hmm.
They were going to die the death and be victim to the cruel decree of Nebuchadnezzar.
Right.
And guess what? The Most High gave Daniel not only the breakdown, but the vision. Read.
And then Daniel answered and said, blessed be the name of God forever and ever, for wisdom and might are his. Verse 21. And he changeth the times and the seasons. He removeth the kings and setteth up kings. He giveth wisdom unto the wise and knowledge unto them that know understanding. He revealeth the deep and secret things. He knoweth what is his He knoweth what is in the darkness, and the light dwelleth with him. I thank thee and pray thee, O thou God of my fathers, who thou hast given me wisdom and might, and hast made known unto me now what we desired of thee. For thou hast now made known unto us the king's matter.
Right. Keep going.
Verse 24. Therefore Daniel went in unto Arioch, whom the king had ordained to destroy the wise men of Babylon. He went and said thus unto him, Destroy not the wise men of Babylon. Bring me in before the king, and I will show unto the king the interpretation. Excuse me.
So now we're at where Daniel is going to be placed in front of Nebuchadnezzar and boldly proclaim how amazing our God is. And you'll see how shortly. Keep going.
Verse 25. Then Arioch brought in Daniel before the king in haste, and said thus unto him, I have found a man of the captivities of Judah, of the captives of Judah, that will make known unto the king the interpretation. The king answered and said unto Daniel, whose name was Belshazzar,
They named him Belshazzar. His name was Daniel, though. Keep going.
Art thou able to make known unto me the dream which I have seen, and the interpretation thereof? Verse 27. Daniel answered in the presence of the king and said, The secret which the king hath demanded cannot the wise men, the astrologers, the magicians, the soothsayers show unto the king?
Imagine Nebuchadnezzar in his court in a high seat, and there's guards. The Chaldeans is ducked off in a corner somewhere. And Daniel says, I'm here to not only break down your dream, but to tell you a dream. And that way you'll know that my God is God. You understand? Because that's where I got it from. And Nebuchadnezzar said, let's get it on. Right? Keep going.
Verse 28. But there is a God in heaven that revealeth secrets.
Right. The key thing you need here is that God revealeth secrets. God revealeth the mysteries, the prophecies, the visions. All of that is from God. Like, there are things in the Bible the earth just won't understand. There are things in the Bible the Christian church just won't understand. But if you're in the Israelite school, UPK, Commander General Yohana made things very, very clear and understandable. You see, he made it to where you can receive the breakdowns and the mysteries. And that's all the work of the Lord.
Right.
And we're here to continue that. Right? So let's look at this dream that had Nebuchadnezzar so worked up. Keep going.
But there is a God in verse 28. But there is a God in heaven which revealeth secrets and maketh known to the king Nebuchadnezzar what shall be in the latter days. Thy dream and the vision of thy head upon thy bed are these. As for thee,
so now Daniel is about to explain the dream. Go ahead.
As for Slacker, sir, can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
So did he know his dream this whole time?
Who?
Nebuchadnezzar.
If you read prior verses, he said he forgot it. Whether he's being true or not,
Okay, yeah, that's
you
what
understand what I'm saying?
Like, yeah, 'cause how he gonna, you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, yeah. I mean, if I had to throw my personal opinion, I would say he knew. I would say he absolutely knew. That way, when he was told it, but he told the Chaldeans, this thing is gone from me. You tell it to me. That's all we have, though. That's all we can go by.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? We only could go by what's written in the text. However, I can't speculate and be like, he probably knew, which he probably did. Or he probably did forget. You ever had a dream that you forgot? And then one day you have it again years later? Like, I forgot I had that dream. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 29. As for thee, O king, thy thoughts came into thy mind upon thy bed, what shall come to pass hereafter, and he that revealeth secrets maketh known to thee.
Damn.
What shall
Right?
come
Hold
to
it right
pass.
there. he said, Daniel didn't even go to the dream yet. He said, this is why you had the dream. Because you was worried about the future and what's going to happen hereafter, after Babylon, 100 years from now. This is why you had the vision. So now I know he has Nebuchadnezzar's attention. I know he has Nebuchadnezzar's attention. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
He that revealeth secrets maketh known to thee what shall come to pass. But as for me, this secret is not revealed to me for any wisdom that I have more than any living, but for their sakes that shall make known the interpretation to the king, and that thou mightest know the thoughts of thy heart.
Keep going.
Verse 31. Thou, O king, sawest, and behold, a great image.
Thou, O king, saw a great image, a huge, almost like a statue. Right? Read.
This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee.
This image had aura. You understand? This image had charisma bouncing off of it. Read.
Stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible.
Right. And it was frightening. Read.
This image head was of fine gold.
This image's head was of fine gold. Now, if Nebuchadnezzar really didn't remember this dream, now he's remembering his dream. If we go on with that. But if he knew the dream and was acting like he didn't, now he knows Daniel is the real deal. And more importantly, he knows the God Daniel represents is the real deal. Go ahead.
If I could, I think he knew once Daniel told him why you had the dream. Once Daniel told him, like, he was like, the reason why you had this dream is because you're thinking of what's going to happen in the future. This is the reason why you even thought this in the first place. I think he knew right then and there. Okay,
this is true. He ain't say nothing after that. I'm all ears.
Yeah.
Who is this Daniel? Keep going. That's a heavy point.
Verse 32. This image head, was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron.
Read it one more time. Go back to the head of gold.
Verse 32. This image head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver.
His breast and his arms of silver, head of gold. Keep going.
His belly and his thighs of brass.
His belly and his thighs of brass. That's this huge, now we know, multi-metallic image, right? Most historians would coin this great image as the multi-metallic image of Daniel 2. So we'll just go with that. Go ahead.
His legs of iron, his feet of part iron and of part clay.
Legs of iron, part clay. Keep going.
Thou sawest till that a stone was cut without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were iron and of clay, and break them into pieces.
Not only did he see the image, but he also, this huge image, he also saw a stone cut out without hands, a huge stone hit and strike that image at the foundation of his feet and cause that image to be destroyed or to what's the word I'm looking for? Not fold. Collapse. There it is. Perfect. That's what that stone did. Keep reading.
Verse 35. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together.
Broken to pieces together. Keep going.
And became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors.
Became dust. Keep going.
And the wind carried them away.
Like the wind, like if you have a pile of dust and the wind blows, that image that was high and mighty and exalted and fearful and dreadful and and just and amazing to see, an amazing sight to see, that was destroyed by a stone, a huge stone, and beat to powder and blew away in the wind. Keep going.
Carried them away that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth.
The stone that smote the image became a great mountain. Now, you reading this, what the hell is this talking about?
Right.
Salakia, what in the world does this have to do, number one, with me today? It has everything to do with you today. First of all, if you're a Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian, you are an Israelite. You're a Jew. You're the people of the book. And newsflash, if you didn't know, you're a slave. You're a slave in captivity. You're under the rule of the oppressor himself, Esau. Or should I say the son of Satan? Right? The physical counterpart of Satan himself. You're under him. You're under his rule. But what if I told you before you were born, before America was named America, your captivity was prophesied? Which also means your liberation and freedom from captivity was also prophesied. Keep going, if you don't mind.
Verse 36. This is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king. Thou, O king, art a king of kings, for the God of heaven hath given thee a kingdom, power, and strength, and glory. And whosoever, and wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field, and the fowls of the heaven, hath he given into thy hand, and hath made thee ruler over them all. Thou art his head of gold. After thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over the earth. And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron.
So now we know, you see that, right? Now we know that the different metals on the image represent different nations or different empires and their rule on earth. It was prophesied that these nations, these different nations, would have a season to rule. He said, thou art this head of gold. That's what you read, right? Thou art this head of gold. So who does Nebuchadnezzar represent? The Babylonian Empire. He represents the Babylonians. The head of gold represents the Babylonians, Babylon, which Babylon, or you get Babylon from Babel, or Babal in the Hebrew, which means what? Confusion, or translated into land of confusion, right? Babylon, though it had its evil practices, they were very high quality. They were very high because they subdued nations, surrounding nations. Nations, even Israel, paid taxes or tribute to Nebuchadnezzar and the Babylonians. You see? And they were very wealthy. You see? Keep going.
And after these shall, verse 39, and after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another king, and a third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth.
Right. The second kingdom, which was the
Silver.
chest and arms of silver, was the Medo-Persian Empire. The Medo-Persian Empire succeeded the Babylonians. It's noted that the Babylonians didn't put up a fight against Darius or Cyrus. King Cyrus just walked in and took over. And that's how we ended up under the Persians and the Medes. Daniel lived through that. You see? Also, Cyrus by name is mentioned in the Bible before Cyrus' time. Get Isaiah 48 and 22. Right? Isaiah was years before Cyrus. But see, it was prophesied in the Bible. I want to get the exact time that most historians agree with. Hold on 1 second. About 100 years off, Isaiah by name mentioned Cyrus by name. Isaiah 48 and let me see here. Isaiah 48 and let me see. Hold on 1 second. This is amazing. Hold on. This is why I don't take people who say the Bible ain't real serious at all. I really don't. It's really laughable. It's not Isaiah 48. It's Isaiah. Look at my notes here. 44 and 28. Good night, Krazai. Come on, man. I said, what I say? 48 and 22. It's 44 and 28. This is before Nebuchadnezzar ransacked Jerusalem. You see?
The book of Isaiah, chapter 44 and verse 28. That saith of Cyrus, he is my shepherd, and he shall perform all my pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
Even saying to Jerusalem, thou shalt be built into the temple, thy foundation shall be laid.
According to history, this is 100 years before Cyrus. And he's saying that Cyrus is going to liberate the children of Israel and rebuild the temple. This is before the temple was destroyed. You get my point?
Right.
Prophecy. That is how powerful prophecy is. Right? Cyrus by name walked into Babylon, now liberated the children of Israel to an extent, liberated us from the cruel oppression of the Babylonians, and allowed us, through the will of the Most High, to go back into Jerusalem. And not only did Cyrus and his descendants allow us to go back and rededicate or rebuild the temple. That's Ezra, Nehemiah, Zerubbabel, Joshua the high priest, Haggai, right? Those books explain that Zechariah that's what Zechariah was having visions of Joshua the high priest and Amitri, right? The 3rd chapter. You go read that for your point of reference for you to go home and read, or after this video, go and read. The King Cyrus and his descendants financed it. That's the point. They financed it and they made sure it got done. And it was all prophecy. We read it in Isaiah 48. I keep saying that, 44 and 28. Go back to Daniel 2. So now we know the Medo-Persian Empire, and the Babylonians are Cushites, if you didn't know. They're Hamites. The Babylonians are Hamites. We were under Hamites. We were under Egyptians, and we were under the Babylonians. Right? Go ahead. No sweat. And the Persians and the Medes.
Verse 39. And after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth. And the 4th kingdom.
And the 3rd kingdom, after the Persians and the Medes, you had the Greeks, right? And who spearheaded the exaltation of the Greek Empire, a Macedonian by the name of Alexander the Great, who was son of Philip of Macedon II, who led the League of Corinth. That was Alexander the Great, right? I don't call him the Great. I call him the Greek. Alexander the Greek, who was a sodomite in nature. And Alexander, he took over the known world in a very quick fashion, which is why he's referred to in Daniel chapter 8 as the leopard, and Daniel 7 as the leopard, and Revelation 13, as we just read, as the leopard. And if you go look at a lot of images of of Alexander, he wore a leopard helmet. Crazy work. And this is before Alexander's time, right? But Alexander was known for his conquest, what he conquered, and how he conquered it so quickly. That's what Alexander was known for. Go ahead.
And the fourth kingdom shall be as strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise.
Right. Now, the fourth empire is, of course, the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire, you had Augustus Caesar, you had Julius Claudius Caesar, you had the different Caesars of Rome. There's a good book out there called The 12 Caesars. You had Caligula, you had Nero, you had a lot of evil, cruel men that ruled Rome and oppressed the children of Israel.
Right.
And they had the strongest military capability in the known world in its time. And they took over everything. The Greeks took over. They took over and claimed everything. The Persians took over. They took over everything and claimed. The Babylonians took over. And they made all surrounding nations pay tribute. All surrounding nations paid tribute. The Romans introduced a Senate. The Romans introduced monogamy. The Romans introduced paganism. The Romans introduced Saturnalia. You celebrated as Christmas today. The Romans introduced a lot of practices that you practice today, and that was prophesied in the Bible, right? But here's the point. All these empires came and went, right? Daniel 2 is not really a long a breakdown, right? Which is why I wanted to do it after the Revelation 13 class. If you haven't checked out the Revelation 13 class, I highly recommend you do, because it goes hand in hand. Because we talked about the spirit of Rome and the spirit of Roman Catholicism and the ideology and philosophy of Rome lives today. It lives today here in 2024, and it's going to live until it dies. Now, what do you need? Remember, the image was great. You want to say something?
Last.
The image was great and powerful and dreadful, and it kept waking Nebuchadnezzar up out of his sleep. But remember, a huge stone cut out that wasn't cut out by hand, right? A huge rock beat that image into powder. So here's what you need to know. This is during the time of Daniel, during the time of the Babylonians, before the Persians ruled, before the Greeks ruled, and before the Romans ruled. Daniel received the mystery of what this vision was and what it meant. So that means that, that means that Daniel's breakdown of the dream was absolutely from God, because the Persians came and ruled next. The Greeks came and ruled next. Then the Romans came and ruled next. So all that is true. That means something else is true. That means something else is yet to happen, Yaquan. Right? Jump to verse 44. Let me see. Yeah, 44. Get straight to the point.
In the book of Daniel, chapter 2, verse 44, and in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom,
Right?
which shall never be destroyed.
Right. This is the stone that smote that image to powder. See, Christ is coming to What does it say in Revelation? I don't know if we covered that before yet. Maybe it's in later chapters, and we will cover it in the book of Revelation. I promise you. But it said that he had crowns on his head, right? What's that in Daniel 7 and 9? I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit. Like, these other nations had their time to rule. They had their time to rule the planet and to be in a position of authority. But now Christ is going to crack that sky and establish the kingdom of God on the planet. Keep going.
Which shall never be destroyed.
And it will never be destroyed. Because remember, the whole reason why Nebuchadnezzar is having these dreams and visions of this image being destroyed and of this image is because he was concerned with what the future is going to be. Keep going.
And the kingdom shall not be left to other people.
And the kingdom, there's your God loves everybody. And the kingdom shall not be left to other people. Why? Because the kingdom of heaven is going to be for the children of Israel to enjoy. Here it is in 2024. We're in America. We're just slaves. We're in America. You know what America is? America is one big prison. And we in the yard.
Right.
That's all it is. Unfortunately, our brothers in the prison system are just in the hole. This is prison. Bills, 9 to 5, 5 to 12, being subject to payments. This is absolutely slavery. Go ahead.
If I could, sir. Doesn't it also symbolize the quality of life diminishing too as well?
Yes, absolutely.
Like, like when, from the gold to the silver to the bronze to the iron to the mirrored clay, like the quality of life has greatly diminished. And definitely in this kingdom, you see it, with the foods and the medicines and everything's just out to harm you or hurt you. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to point that out.
That's absolutely correct. I'm glad you brought that point out. Keep going.
Slug. And
Keep
if
going.
I could, and just in my thoughts, if I could input my quick thought.
Please.
It's crazy how, because we just went over Revelation, and in Revelation 13, you talked about how that beast that rose up in Revelation still had the paws of the bear and the lion and the
leopard.
The leopard stuff. It still had some of the things, and it's crazy that the image got struck down where it got struck down, and those things still being stood on top of that image. You see what I'm saying? Uh-huh. It's like kind of like how I'm trying to draw the correlation here, like kind of how they still had, like they were still standing, living through where it got struck down at. You know what I'm saying? Just like in Revelation 13. You know what I'm saying? If that makes any sense to anybody.
It makes absolute sense. It makes sense to me. It makes sense to me because if you go back and watch the Revelation 13 video, what the brother brought out is heavy, right, Yakuwan? Because the beast, which was the Roman Empire, with the 7 heads and the 10 horns and the 10 crowns on the 10 horns, we broke down what that represented, right? And it's the same thing with the Roman Empire. And if you keep reading in Daniel 2, it talks about the 10 toes and that, remember the 10 horns, and it all correlates. It all goes together. You understand? The Most High gave damn near the same vision to John and Daniel. Damn near gave him the same vision, right? Keep going. Just in different visions, right? But this is all of it is talking about what you need to know from Daniel 2 and any prophecy in the Bible. I'm going to give you what you really need. Go back and study those prophecies and look up. I was fascinated with the time period Daniel was living in and the prophecy itself. And I go back in history and I learn, and we learn that these things came true after Daniel. So as a Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian, Seminole Indian in 2024, what does that do for me in the hood, in the ghetto, and at the very bottom of society, it gives me hope. It gives me absolute hope that the Most High God has not forgotten us. He has not forgotten you. Right? Remember the Most High asked Isaiah, can a woman who gives suck forget her child? Yea, she may forget, yet will I not forget thee. If you're a Black, Hispanic, and Native American, meaning in the rare case of a woman forgetting a child that she breastfed, because how merciless could you be to forget that, right?
Right.
But it happens. In the case of it happening, listen, I'll never forget you. And Black people, Hispanic people, and Native American Indian people, we need that. We need that, man. We absolutely need that. Because this ain't gonna be life forever. There's gonna be a day where we're not going to camp anymore, Kradza.
Right.
There's gonna be a day where there's no more camp. We're gonna be like, we're gonna teach our sons, we used to go to camp. Right? There's gonna be a day where there'll be a generation of Israelites who are born through the men who are deemed worthy to be delivered from this captivity and enjoy the kingdom of heaven and have part of the first resurrection, right? There will be a generation of children who will see Edomites, and we'll have to explain to him how the same people they see building buildings and picking cotton and picking fruits and vegetables and working in the field and hard labor, how they used to rule the world.
Right.
And they're going to say, is this the man? That's what it's going to come down to. The Roman, I hope we have a museum of some sort. I hope it's a museum. I'm Salakia, but you get my point. A museum, they used to be the Roman Empire, son. Roman Empire. We're going to be speaking in Hebrew, by the way. Roman Empire. What's the Roman Empire? Well, son, the Roman Empire was whoop-de-whoop and break it all down. And he could be like, ain't no way. Ain't no way.
It's what they do to us. Russia opening up these vaults. They, you know how many of them kids have been in them vaults and then seen and ask, what is this and what is that? And they take great pride in you know, detailing these details to their children. Oh, this great nation. Oh yeah, we took them down. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We had that's why they're in the. But how is this once great people? How are they? You know, and they tell them all our secrets. You know what I'm saying? They doing what Thabawan's describing is what they do to us, and so rightfully so, we will have the opportunity to do for them. And if I could also, sir, I think it's such a beautiful thing that to even think of and hear these prophecies, knowing like Daniel was sitting there sometimes too, like, dang, like after he seen Nebuchadnezzar fall and he seen who came to power, like it probably increased his, you know, faith in it and his trust in the Lord. Like, okay, wow, and his trust in his own vision that he said, you know what I'm saying? So I think that it's a beautiful thing, and like these scriptures are true. Daniel's seen it for himself. You can look in history and seeing that who ruled after the Babylonians. Yeah. They talk about the Babylonians in history. Who ruled after them? Who ruled after them? And who ruled after them? And who's ruling now? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? These things are in history. These things have happened, and these prophecies are real. You know what I'm saying? And most historians try to go out there and do history to debunk the Bible and come to find out, realizing that, hey, the Bible's actually valid.
Right. In trying to debunk it, they prove it can't be debunked.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why all historians reference the Bible and majority of their documentations or pages or whatever the hell it is. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's
right. No, excellent point. Excellent point. Finish that off.
Verse 44 in the book of Daniel, the 2nd chapter. Which kingdom shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms.
If brothers and sisters could kindly type 1 in the chat if you're following along. If you're following along, type 1 in the chat. Type 1 in the chat if you're following along and it's being made clear. We appreciate it.
And it shall stand forever.
Right. And that's what you should hope for, black man, black woman, Hispanic man, Hispanic. We're not going to be slaves forever. We're not going to work forever. They're not going to have us in the prison system and create law. We're not going to live in a world where we have to suffer man on man on TV. We're not going to have to suffer that much longer. We're not going to have to suffer woman on woman, man being woman, a man going from Jonathan to Jasmine. We're not going to suffer that very much longer. Because we're suffering it now. Didn't Peter say that Lot was vexed with the conversation of the ungodly? Something to that effect in Peter's? I'm vexed. I'm tired of it. I think you made a post on Facebook. You said, I don't know if was that you? Maybe it was a while ago. You said it. You was like, you can't watch a show of any sort without there being sodomite representation. It could be anime. They attacking anime now. We used to watch anime because it was like, okay, it's cool. Now, they throwing subliminals in animation. All the movies, forget about it. Netflix, forget about it. Sodomite representation. Go ahead.
Kids movies.
Kids movies.
Kids shows.
Kids shows. Kids clothes. Got a whole section in Walmart and Target and wherever you buy clothes for that. And that's this empire, the quality of this empire, the part Meyer and part Clay. Mm-hmm. The quality of this place. You see? It's garbage. The food is garbage. The air is garbage. This place sucks. Yakuwan, this place sucks, man.
That's right.
Like, Kreza, are you happy here?
Lie.
Hell no. I'm grateful to be in the truth. That's my abundance in life.
Right.
That's my joy. But being here, oppressed in America, I can't wait to be free. I can't wait to be free. I can't wait to see my sons free, my daughters free, my wives free. That's what we want. Can't wait to live in a world where Christ is ruling. The man I read about in Matthew, the nights I read about him in the Bible, in silence, I just read about him. He ruling. Come on, man. What are we talking about here? That's what this is all about. That's why we do what we do, and we are going to continue to labor until we enter into that rest, like Paul said. So don't grow weary, brothers. Don't grow weary, sisters. We almost out of here. Just keep enduring. The Bible says, my son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. We know in Matthew, the 4th chapter, we know who the tempter is. It's Satan. Right. And the same way Job was tempted, the same way we're tempted and tested every day. Every day is a test on making the right or wrong decision. Every day. Make the right decision. Let's get out of here. Let's, as a nation of people, let's persuade the Most High to get us out of here. Right. That's what we should be doing. Not by what we say and beg, but how we act, how we conduct ourselves as a people. Right? Let's really serve. Let's really keep Passover. Let's really don't try and eat snacks on the low on the Day of Atonement. No, suffer it. Go to camp, brother. Go to class. Study the Bible. Beg the Most High to get us out of here, and let's get out of here. I'm Precinct Officer Thabawan, Israelite School, UPK, under Commander Junior Hanna, accompanied by
Precinct Officer Kreza.
And we'll see you next time. Shalom.